Mr. Muyana stood here yesterday and said, we need to increase according to the mathematics strategy. We need to increase maths participation at least by 5% each and every year. So if we only have 41% right now, if we only have 36% currently, it means we need to add 5% more, at least have 41% in 2024. How then do we take that forward? It is then our duty, Mahlambi and the team, to go out there and make sure that we mobilize more learners who will participate meaningfully in mathematics in 2024. I'm not talking about 2025, I'm talking about this year, because the schools are only opening next week. I want to appreciate the schools that opened on the 4th, the schools that opened on the 2nd, the teachers that committed themselves to say, we are not going to enjoy holidays, we are going to start very early in the year. I know a class in Hillgrove, a class of accounting in Hillgrove started, there was a class also that also started, I can't remember the school, but I want to recognize them, to say they have started even before thinking of coming back to the office. Those are the people who have a vision and they want to put in practice actions that will provide us with results and positive results. So this articulation by the Vision 2030 and Set Up Plan Action Plan 2024 towards realization of school in 2030 is saying to us, let us be mindful at all times that these are the learners and teachers that are envisaged in the system. And if they are not at that level, let us then put together some programs in place to equip them to come to that level that is expected. And 2024 is the year of change. The year of change in our system in terms of the current SGBs. It's the year of change in the current SGBs, the year of elections in the SGB. That is why I am receiving this love letter to say, let me announce about the SGB elections and the dates, because all of us should be participating in monitoring that the process is free, fair, and credible, so that when we have those parents elected into the governing body offices of our schools, we know that we have men and women who are going to add value into the system rather than causing trouble for us. So we have to support the process and make sure that all the process is done in a free and fair way. Umlazi has spoken to the HOD, and Umlazi spoke to the issue of the change of a 6th administration to the 7th administration. It will affect us in one way or another, but let us be positive and continue to do our work as expected. Umlazi has already spoken to the issues of finances. I think we also had a commission that spoke to issues of the resource provisioning, and we dealt with some details there, and believe when we get to finalize our resolutions, we'll be able to then say, as a district, this is how we deal with issues of procurement. As a district, this is how we provide resources, as it is right now. MTA will attest. 2 days ago, we received information that some offices already have electricity cards. Our HOD was here analyzing and making us to understand how the government finances are handled, and how we must understand those processes. Just when he left, one of our offices was reported to have electricity cards. We know when they started somewhere, or especially at every municipality, who always negotiate in bad faith. They always negotiate in bad faith because our senior managers will go there and sit for hours and hours and analyze and interact and engage. But immediately when they leave those offices, they follow them and close and switch off the electricity. We are praying and believing that we will be able to arrest that situation as it is starting at the level of one of our offices in eThekwini district. So, we believe that ours is in good standing. We are in good standing. I know that at times, even if we are in good standing, they go beyond us and do that. So I don't want to waste further time in the issues of finances, because when we present our resolutions, we will actually be talking to such issues as well. When I presented our focus, I said we are going to be prioritizing this. As it is, the class of 2023, the class of 23-23, grade 11, class of 2023, which is our class of 2024 in terms of matric. Right now, the bulk of our learners, more especially in the gateway subjects, are performing at level 1, 2, 3, and few at level 4. As a country and as a province and as a district, we adopted in 2023 a hashtag 1234 must fall. And if we were lying to DG, because we agreed and adopted when DG was there at bedside, and we said, yes, hashtag 1234 must fall. If it was a slogan, we must wake up and smell the coffee, because the reality is that our learners, the bulk of our learners are performing at that level. I had a chance of engaging with FET, and they saw the results. And that alone, it says we must fasten our belt and make sure that we have a strategy that will, when we take off, everyone will take off with us, and we will jet off to ensure that by end of this quarter, most of our learners will be now leaning towards the higher levels of performance. So, our gateway subjects, we still have a problem. We have to strengthen our strategy. Nginobathandana bami la emsebenzini abakhulu. Engishade nabo nje, I just decided ukuthi mphathi siyashada nje. Ngiyabaxoxela ukuthi umtshela umyeni wakho noma unkosikazi wakho ukuthi usushade nabo. Siwu-2 asibona u-3 ngoba mina owami umshado is sacred. Ngokufuna lama-results afuna umam-TA, afuna u-DDG, afuna u-HOD, afuna u-MEC, afuna uBabundlela, afuna umama uGeya, afuna u-DG, afuna uMinister. So sishadile nomali. Umshado wethu uqale phansi. Uma igoda lesilakela dabuka seyiqale phansi sizayibona. Sishadile nomali. Umshado wami nogugu u-strong. Umshado wami nobaba uNtanda u-strong. Ngiyayiqinisa-ke nje imishado eminingi isaqhubeka iyaqina nje ngemphathi. I'm ensuring ukuthi at the end of the day, when we have to account as a district, we account as a collective. It is not a district director's matter, but it is a district issue. These are the items that I presented when I was making a presentation on purpose. What is it that we want to focus on as a district? These are the items. I'm not going to outline them one by one, but I think during our engagement we have deliberated on these matters. We are on the last year of GEC pilot, which will begin to tell us where are we with the standards that HOD spoke about. We seem to be lacking standards when it comes to assessment in the GET. Now, the GEC is bringing about those standards because it's not, we're not very much interested in the common assessment or common test, but if we have standards that will guide all our teachers, and we know that all our learners that have gone through this particular grade were assessed through quality assessment, then we are sure that our learners have undergone through the quality processes. I highlighted the issue of quality assessment because you may not be able to separate assessment and teaching and learning. You can't come up with a quality assessment when you have not done quality teaching and learning. So that process is the process that we must monitor and that we must handle with care. If it means for us, Brianna, I heard you when you were presenting the strategy saying, I'm not too sure whether we are allowed to go in the classroom and observe and monitor and guide. If you are a subject advisor, you know better. Then we have all the rights to go and do that because when you provide support, we provide the support in the classroom when the teaching and learning is going on. How will I observe reading and be able to come up with the assessment of reading when I've not observed reading in the classroom? I have to sit there and observe the teacher teaching reading, listen to the learners reading out for the teacher, for me to see whether these learners are moving to a fluent reading stages or they are still there at the lower levels of reading stages. So if I don't get into the classroom, how will I then verify? I only take what is said by the teacher. So I must be able to observe that this learner is at emergent reading stage, moving towards fluent reading stages, moving together with the teacher. And these are the processes that the teacher is employing in teaching reading in the classroom. So those are the processes. This is a sacred part of the entire process because our core business is teaching and learning. So if we know that all of us converge here in the process of monitoring, supporting, analyzing, and ensuring that we report on this, and providing all the necessary support in terms of materials, in terms of training, because training is important. Training is important. If we train our SMTs, our chief director strongly believes that if we train our SMTs, or especially our departmental heads, something greater may happen. Let us focus and ensure that our departmental heads are assisted. I had prepared something around the presentation on the performance of grade 8 subjects, but TA said, no, it's fine, we can have it another time because of time. I want to say, as a way forward, these are the things that we should take cognizance of and start to work around the clock, ensuring that each and every month we report about these issues. Each and every month we know that these are the issues that are a priority. All other activities that we have, we still are going to report about. We have structures that are going to be put in place. We have set some of the committees in place. I'm not going to dwell much on such because when we finalize the resolutions, I'm also going to be putting dates for our meetings in terms of our mentors, our extended mentors, our principals meetings. All of this will be part of the presentation when we present our resolutions. Over and above that, the structure that we are going to put in place, we are working and we are not working alone. We are working together with our stakeholders. Some in the form of business partners, our labor partners, as well as all other people who have interest in education of our children. All of this put together will help us to work like the Nehemiahs of the time. Nehemiah worked to ensure that the walls of Jerusalem, all the walls of Jerusalem were rebuilt. If you look at the motto of this very same school, you will surely see that they say, honor God, build surely. This is the motto of the school. We, as a Department of Education in Umlazi district this year, having said we are rekindling the flame of performance through intentional and strategic illumination. If you saw those pictures, if I may go back a bit, if you saw those pictures, That's the illumination we are talking about. We want to see a very bright space where we are operating. We want to illuminate the path. We want to make sure that everyone in our space is enlightened. We are going to do that if we become Nehemiahs of the time, by picking up here, by ensuring that we pick up where we left, and all our efforts and our energies are put together to rebuild the wall of Umlazi district to reclaim its former glory. Colleagues, I thank you. I wish you well as you go out there as men and women of valor, men and women of valor, the warriors of Umlazi. We are picking up this spear. This spear. No, let me say we are picking up the bricks so that you can do it. Thank you.